Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ninja Warrior Podcast. It's been over a month since we recorded an episode, and it's been over 3 months since what we're talking about today has aired, but we're here, finally talking about the Sasuke World Cup. Yeah, we finally did it. Also, hi, I haven't used my real voice in a long time here. I don't think you've ever used your real voice here. Have I? I guess not, no. It's only been on the gaming headband that I use actually, like, my real voice. So, like, for a long time, I've been using, like, a very, high-pitched girlish voice because, my anxiety kind of just told me that, like, I don't sound like a girl, so, like, I need to, like, amp up my voice a bit. But, like, this is, like, how I, like, naturally sound, so, like, but, like, I've been wanting to just, like, utilize my real voice because, like, it's, like, kind of puts a strain on me to, like, have to talk like that for a while. We'll talk actually, like, Crystal often has to take breaks between takes because she has to take long to have her voice be like that. So, like, she was actually talking to us today, being like, I just want to reveal my voice and get it over with. So, I guess you just did that. Yes, I just did that. But today we are going to be covering the Sasuke World Cup. That really does excite me. Because this is actually pretty decent, in my opinion. Yeah, there was some weird things, some cool things, some really awesome things. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. Yeah, so let's get started here. So the Sasuke World Cup, this was a thing that aired in Japan and was done before the filming of Sasuke 42, as far as I know. Much before it, but I'm 90% sure the courses we'll see here will be the same ones on Sasuke 42. We don't know that for sure, although Sasuke 42 recently did film, so that is a possibility as well. But, yeah, what do you guys want to start with this special?
I say we talk about the teams, because that's going to take a good chunk of time to start with.
Okay, so, this special, it brought in 5 different countries. It was Japan, the USA, Germany, France, and Australia. Oh yeah, so it was actually really cool to see like a big variety of countries, especially Germany, France, and Australia. Germany and France, I don't think we've ever seen the ninja competitions from there, right?
Yeah, no, aside from, I think, the captain of Team Germany, who was a veteran of Sasuke, like, we hadn't really seen the ninjas from there, so that was really kind of cool. And then Team Australia, we haven't seen since the last USA versus the World special. So, like, getting able to see all these international competitors again, and that was really cool.
Yeah, it's also interesting, too, because Ninja Warrior Germany, if I remember, like, wasn't one of these, like, discontinued?
Ninja Warrior UK.
Oh, okay.
That's why they're not here.
Right, yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, Ninja Warrior UK is really the only country that's really missing from this group, and that's just because Ninja Warrior UK got canceled 2 years ago, so, like, that's why they're not here.
Yeah, so let's go into this. So, starting with Japan here, they have 3 teams. Because they couldn't, you know.
Yeah, like, they really need to look into... I got so used to it!
I didn't even notice you were doing the pitch voice.
When did I even start doing the pitch voice? Oh my god.
Okay. I guess I just started rolling with it. You were saying you had problems with it. I do, but like, then I just got into the habit of just doing it after you said something because we've been doing this for so many years. Oh god, when did I even start? We were talking about the teams. Wait, so the 3 teams thing. So, Japan has 3 teams. Japan Red, Japan Blue, and Japan Legend. This is annoying. I honestly don't approve of this. I think Japan should have just went with 1 team of completely top competitors. But generally speaking, I think the reason why they did do this is because they wanted a whole bunch of Japanese ninjas to be able to be in this. Because they actually, on these teams, like, they split, on Japan White and Japan Blue, they spread out the veterans across, like, the Sasuke history. So, like, they had Japan Red would be more current people who've, like, been competing for like a decent amount of time, been doing super duper well. And then Team Japan Blue are more older school vets who are doing super well right now, And then Japan Legend, as you might expect, is the All-Stars, all the old style ninjas who are still competing today. I think I'd like to talk about them last, actually, because I have some opinions relating to them. Like, last. Alright, I'm done. So let's just talk about Team Japan Red and Japan and Blue. So, the competitors for Team Japan Red were Yusuke Morimoto, who is the captain of the team, which, obviously. We have Yamamoto Yoshiyuki, who is one of the Black Tigers who made Stage 4 during Sasuke 42. Tatsusude Tada, I think that's how you say his name. He has been one of the top veterans, and also made it to Stage 4 during Sasuke, I think 39 and 41. 39 and 40, so he has some top history right there. Yamamoto Kaitowa, who's made Stage 3 the last couple of tournaments. And finally, the one-woman pick, Oshima Ayano, who has been a top trailblazer in Sasuke. In Sasuke being probably the top Japanese female competitor at this point. Top female Japanese ninja at this point. Where she's been repeatedly getting close to the end of Stage 1 and even cleared it during Sasuke 40. So like, she's been quite big lately. Yeah, so I don't think there's any problems here. Team Japan Blue, some interesting ones here. First up, we have Yuji Ushihara as the team captain. I'm kind of glad he's getting featured here, is because he's been doing super duper well as well. Super duper well too, and that's honestly because I'm starting to surprise him about that Yuji is like in his 40s and like has been competing for probably the longest out of all these main veterans that are not just the all-stars who are here just because they're famous at this point. Yeah, I mean, we'll get into talking about the All-Stars later just because I think they talk about them solely, but, like, yeah, Yuji's actually just been competing and just still, like, training for the show. He's like this show's Joe Mawowski in a way. Oh, yeah, and age-wise? Yeah, I would definitely say that. Moving on. After that, we had Hiyoki Masashi, who, has basically been another trailblazer in Sasuke, getting all the way to the cliffhanger in every single appearance he's had in recent years. Like, I think that's like 8 or 9 appearances in a row he's made it to the cliffhanger. Like, I don't remember the last time he wasn't on the cliffhanger. Yeah, at least in the time we've watched the show. Yeah, so, that's that. Then we have Hikaru Iwamoto, who I don't even really recognize from this special. I think that's Snowman. But but as far as my research goes, he has only made it to Stage 2, which means out of everyone in the lineup total, he has gone the least far aside from the women. Oh, really? Yeah, aside from the 2 women ninjas on Japan Blue and Japan Legend, he's gone the least far. Huh, interesting. But anyway, after that, we have May, my apologies if I ditched this, Watanabe, who is a recent female competitor who did pretty decent during Sasuke 37 and 38, but that's really about it in terms of her time competing on the show. So, yeah, I guess she deserved it to a certain degree. And then we have finally to round out this list, Tomohiro Kawaguchi, who, as you guys probably know at this point, has been a well-known competitor who did really, really well in his heyday, but as of recently has been on a really bad downward spiral and hasn't made it out of Stage 1 since Sasuke 36. Yeah, I'm really glad we got, that we did get to see all these ninjas. I kinda hate it that Team Japan has, 3 separate teams, but, like, it's fine. Yeah. We'll talk about Team Japan Legend later. Let's go into, Team Germany now, because I think we have the least to say about these people. Yeah, my apologies. We haven't really watched, Ninja Warrior Germany, Ninja Warrior France, and Ninja Warrior Australia. So, like, aside from the people we know from, like, the international specials, we're not gonna really recognize these people from here on out. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go through all these one by one. So first off, we have Rene Kasei, who was the captain. He's actually been on Sasuke before, as he is the second European competitor to make it to Stage 4 after I forgot his name, but like a gymnast from Sasuke 8 who made there with King Kensugi. I just don't remember his name right now. But yeah, so he's been a veteran of Sasuke. On his team as well, we had Philip Gothard, Victoria Kramer for the women, Marvin Van Mittelhuber, and Benjamin Grams. Team Benjamin Graham. So, honestly, I think all I have to say with Team Germany is just the fact that I'm glad they got some showtime here. Oh, yeah, for sure. Then we got Team France, who has, once again, people that we don't really recognize, especially since none of us even watched France, and they've never even been in the international specials really at all in AEW. First off, you have Charles Porjade, who was the captain of the team. I believe he had recently achieved Condensation in Ninja Warrior France, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of them, at least. Yeah, one of them. After that, we have Clement Gravier, Marlene Jelic, Leanne Chirif, and for the women, we had Valentin DeConin. Okay, my apologies if I ditched any of those names. I tried my best. Hey, we're doing much better than like the very first podcast when we talked about the USA versus the world. Oh yeah, like I didn't even recognize it. Like that was the last time we talked about these ninjas. Was like when we were first starting these podcasts. Oh god, yeah, I don't. I don't even want to think about those times. Yeah. Rounding this out here, we got Team Australia, finally some people that we know here. We have Olivia Vivian as the captain, which is kind of interesting. But she's like been like a trailblazer in Enjoy Australia, as well as on AEW when she appeared during seasons 10 and 11 in the USA vs. World competition as well, where she cleared stage 1. After that, we had Zach Stoltz, Aslan Herbert, Saxon Johnstone, and Daniel Mason. A lot of these people did super duper well, and Australia actually kind of surprised you how well they were doing. So in the fact that as far as I know, Ninja Warrior Australia also recently got cancelled as well. I think having their last competition in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it is actually really cool still to see these ninjas competing with you. Still to see these ninjas still training and being able to do it. Yeah. Then we have Team USA, who we actually do have some things to say about because we've been covering American Ninja Warrior for the entire podcast here. First off, we got Jessie Graff as the captain, who, it does make sense. She is the most experienced person on the team in terms of Sasuke, because she's competed on Sasuke 34, 37, 39, 34, 37, and 40. She's made it to stage 3 2 out of the 3 times she's competed. And, like, that's how she... And, yeah, she's basically the most experienced member on the team. We also got Daniel Gill, who recently competed on Sasuke via Sasuke 41. Let's say 41, and made all the way to the cliffhanger in that tournament. And then we got some competitors who I kind of question why they were here and not like some of the teenagers, but if I had to guess, they also probably couldn't transport a lot of them, like Vance Walker and stuff. So, like, yeah. I don't think these are bad choices, though. First up, we got Sean Bryan, who really showed that, like, he was truly the elder statesman of this team, because, like, he was struggling throughout the entire competition, but, like, he was also doing, like, oddly enough, like, the best out of all the Americans. Yeah, considering what happened coming up here, like, Sean Bryan might as well have been the stand-up person on Team USA, which was just kind of funny to me. Yeah, after that, we have RJ Woman, who makes sense, but, I still find it weird calling him a top competitor just because, like, it feels like he rose, like, so quickly. Yeah, in a way, especially considering how he does in the special. And finally, we got Joe Mawaski, who makes a lot of sense. He's been a top ninja for a long time here. You're very consistent. But considering Joe Mawaski's performance here, it seemed just very odd. Fuck yeah, very odd. You know? So anyway, that was Team USA. Finally, we got Team Japan Legend. Now, Team Japan Legend is full of very old style vets from way back when. And like Sasuke's very early days. He's like, yeah. So starting off, we have Makoto Nagano as the captain. Who's basically just the elder statesman of Sasuke, basically their equivalent of David Campbell or Drew Dressel as like their top competitor for a really long time in the early days. And he can might also just be called the Godfather because Nagano's been around for so long competing in Sasuke. Like, he's not competed in every season. We'll get to Shingo Yamamoto a bit later. But like, he's basically the guy. Yeah, definitely, for sure. I'm really glad, like, he's at... Yeah, definitely, for sure. After that, we have, my apologies if I butchered this one. Yuko Mizuno, who, if I recall... I need to look up for a second, hold on. You need a second? I need a second, I don't remember who this is. So she has, she's kind of just some... so she is a top competitor more from Kunoichi, for the most part, but has also competed in Sasuke, though hasn't really done all that well in Sasuke in general. So, yeah. Alright then. Then we got King Kasugi, who was a top competitor up until Sasuke 8, where he made the stage 4, but then stopped competing after that, due to a variety of factors. But the main thing about Kane right now is that he recently came back as of Sasuke 40, getting all the way to stage 2. So I think it was really cool to see him back. Yeah, I really hope this means that he'll be coming back for Sasuke 42 as well, because, man, it was so cool to see him back in Sasuke 40. Yeah. Then we got Shingo Yamamoto, who, as we mentioned earlier, is the only competitor to compete in every Sasuke tournament, which is really cool that, like, because he's in this international special as well, he's competed in every single competition Sasuke in general. That's really cool. Yeah, and then we got Kasumi Yamada, who... I know a lot of people probably hate me for this one, but I feel like they should just kick off the show at this point, because he is one of the most disrespectful ninjas we've ever had on a Ninja Warrior show in general. Damn. Yeah, I'll be honest, I just never liked him. Like, he's like, Sasuke actually, like, hurt his relationship with his wife, from what I've heard. And, like, in general, he's been, like, really rude to, like, Sasuke producers and, like, people backstage, and, like, he's a very emotional person. He was so determined to win Sasuke that he, like, quit his job to do it, and he failed, and he's been on a stage 1 downward streak since Sasuke 12. Like, seriously, I personally have very strong opinions about Kasumi Yamada, and, like, I just much rather than just ban him from the show, because he really has been, like, hurting a lot of competitions he's competed in, which is really weird. Like, yeah. That's definitely personal opinion, but I can see where you're coming from. I'm being firm on that. Yeah, he's just, like, such an odd person. And on this team as a whole, my personal opinion about all of them is, like, they really should not be competing here, because a lot of them are too old to really do all that well. Yeah, it's actually, I don't think it's really surprising that Team Japan Legend was last place in the total, because none of them really did all that well. A lot of them are too old to really do super duper well. The only really exception is Nagano, who had a remarkable one considering his age, and we'll get there, but everyone else really didn't do all that well. Oh, and if it wasn't for USA doing absolutely abysmal, doing two out of their 5 heats on stage 1, and they definitely would have gotten last place in every heat. So it made me really not like the fact that they were in here. Like, it really felt like they were a detriment and, like, felt really out of place. Yeah, so, the teams took us 20 minutes to talk about. I don't think you're surprised. Yeah, I really shouldn't be. In retrospect, maybe we should have done a podcast where we talked about the teams and everything else first, because that would have been an episode's length on its own, but We already knew we'd be here for a while. Yeah, definitely. Like, maybe I'll have, like, a timestamp to skip to the competition. Or maybe I should talk about the ones and stuff. But, second off, let's talk about the rules of the World Cup and how everything worked there. Yeah. So, starting off, the competitors competed on 3 out of the 4 stages of Mount Midoriyama. Stage 1, Stage 3, and Stage 4. Instead of Stage 2, they competed on a mini spider climb that basically just went up a couple of feet to the buzzer where the top times were measured. We'll get to that in a second, but I just wanted to note that going in. Starting with Stage 1, the first 5 heats will land on it, where every competitor from each team got to 1, and the top competitors would be able to capitalize on their points, and the top on their points. It's with the most you can get being 70, and then it goes down by 10 every placement. Each team with last place getting 10 points. 2 teams with the fewest points getting eliminated by the end of that heat. Yup, and then on the second stage, which was just a racing spiral climb to the top. Up where it was eliminated down to I think 5 teams. It was eliminated, I think, down to 3 teams heading into Stage 3. And then Stage 3 kind of ran like a more normal heat, where we had 4 heats, and then it would knock down to the top 2, who will race on Stage 4. And yeah, that was the structure of the competition. So, not terrible, but I really don't know why they couldn't use Stage 2. If I had to guess, Stage 2 is a course that's been really needing a design overhaul. So, it's a possibility that they were just constructing the new version of Stage 2, and they needed, like, more time, so they had them run on, like, a really thrown together spider climb. That's what it felt like to me. Yeah, something like that. I would hope that's the reason, because we've been needing a redone of Sasuke Stage 2 for a long time here. Like, A&W has been on a hot streak of Stage 2s as of seasons 13 and 14. But Sasuke really hit a downward spiral. I don't remember the last time they had a really good Stage 2. Probably since, like, Sasuke 27. Yeah, like, ever since a huge victory, like, Stage 2 has just been, like, it has retained its same form and, like, hasn't really changed much since. And, like, it's been, like, really annoying and, like, really needs an overhaul in general. Yeah, definitely, like, really does. It really does. But, so, we can hope that that's the reason, because Stage 2 does need an overhaul. But, yeah, want to get started with the first heat on Stage 1 and talk about the tournament as a whole now that we're almost 30 minutes in? Yeah, let's go. So starting with the first heat of the World Cup. I guess with that, we can just start with Stage 1 and just talk about its obstacles. Yeah, but, like, we're not going to be here all the time talking about it. Similar to, AW 16 and, like, how that was a very minimal renewal in Mount Midoriyama. Sasuke has also been in a spiral to where, Stage 3 is really the only course that's been getting major renewals every total victory, while Stages 1 and 2 really have been remaining mostly the same. While this course is mostly the same from Sasuke 41, there was one, obstacle change. We got the quad steps, the rolling hill, and a returning obstacle that was not in Sasuke 41, the wing slider, which, I'll be honest, is an obstacle I kinda like. I kinda like the idea of, like, having to, like, just stick yourself in the chute and just, like, survive the drops. I do think that's kinda cool. Yeah, after that we got the Fishbone, the Twin Diamond, who, we talked about during Sasuke 41, but of course that podcast never went through. So, like, that was the new obstacle during that Stage 1, like, I found it really cool. Really cool, just, like, straight up. Yeah, just, like, being able to, just, like, it being on a motor and you having to time your jumps and whatnot, like, it really does feel like something that Stage 1 is, like, orientated for, so. Yeah, because and I always really love the aesthetic of it, too. Oh, yeah, definitely, like, the Twin Diamond is just, like, so cool. But, anyway, then we got the Dragon Glider, which if you guys don't remember was basically just Sasuke's version of the Double Dipper. Then we have the Tackle and the, Warp Wall. Let's end the Warp Wall. So, yeah, stage 1 remained relatively the same, but I do like how we got at least one obstacle change in the form of the Twin Diamond. Yeah, it is nice. Then we have the first heat. The first heat had 7 runners, and every heat on stage 1 had 7 runners, them being 5 heats, with each competitor from the team getting to run once. And once. So, starting off with the first heat, we have Shingo Yamamoto for Team Japan Legend, who ran first. And he ended up going out on the Dragon Glider. Honestly, not a special one for Shingo. Nothing really notable happened. Though Shingo didn't really have the fastest pace in the world, he was doing okay enough. And actually placed pretty decently well. Oh, and as aside from the people who cleared, he did do decently well given the circumstance. Yeah, for sure. And, the Dragon Glider is very typical for Shingo. He's only made it past the obstacle once in his time doing it, and otherwise he's failed it every single fucking time, which has been really humorous to me personally. Yeah, it's been really unfortunate. After that we had Renee Caselli, who, basically had a really fast pace throughout the course. Unfortunately, rushing the Twin Diamond and getting knocked out there. Honestly, one of the first big shocks here, and get used to that. There are a lot of big shocks here, all throughout the special. We're all here for it, because it makes it, more entertaining to cover. Yeah, but just, the fact that this guy, he had made it to stage 4 previously, so we're expecting big things from him in this tournament, and then he just fell in the Twin Diamond, yeah, it was just shocking. Yep, then we have a long string of clears, starting off with Clement Guavia from Team France. He ended up clearing in the slowest time of all the ninjas in this heat in over 107 seconds. Then we got Team Australia's Ashlyn and Herbert, who ended up playing with the second fastest time of all the ninjas in Heat 1 in 68 seconds. Then we have Hayoki Masashi, who had a much slower pace, but did do decently well, clearing in 98 seconds. So, fine enough. And then we got RJ Roman to break this up. Well, he unfortunately went out on the fucking fishbone. Yeah, that's a thing that happened. That really is a thing that happened. Oh my god, RJ Roman, what the fuck, man? Yeah, this started off a really weird trend for the Team USA. Well, aside from Sean Bryan and Jesse Graff, the main 3 top veterans who were here, those being RJ Roman and Joe Mawaski, were really just fucking woofing it, especially on stage 1 here, where their performances were really disappointing. And on stage 1, again, as I just mentioned, Sean Bryan and Jesse Graff, Team USA really had, a really weird downward spiral in stage 1, where they got the last place here, and they also, coming up here, didn't really do that well in a further heat, so, it's worth to talk about. Yeah, and, it's also interesting, too, because RJ Roman, he has been on a downward spiral himself, because ever since his fail on stage 4 during AW15, he hasn't been doing all that well. He fell in the qualifiers in AW16, but still moved on. But then fell on stage 1, which was one of the biggest shocks of the season. And now to fall here, what the fuck is going on here, RJ? You need to get out of the spiral. Definitely for sure. It's so weird to have him be in that position. But yeah, and after that we have Yamamoto Yoshiyuki, one of the Black Tigers for Team Japan Red, who blazed through the course in the fastest time in this heat, in 65 seconds, giving him the top spot. Yeah, this led to the should we cover the standings after each heat? I don't think I care enough. No, but if something notable was going on at this point, then yeah, I think we can talk about it. Ninja Warrior Wiki doesn't really display the totals as we're looking at this, so that's what it's gonna come down to. Yeah, so let's move on to the second heat. We start off with a run from Team USA is Sean Bryan. Yeah, so, Sean Bryan, this was a fast forward one, but he did do pretty decently, as he ended up clearing the course, though in a really slow time. Yeah, I kind of understand why they fast forwarded this, because Bryan really didn't have much of a pace from what we saw. But I'm glad he cleared over RJ, who fell, so it's a much better result here. After we have Benjamin Grams from Team Germany, who got a mid-cut. Once we got a mid-cut and barely any of his ones shown. However, with him clearing 77 seconds left, the fastest time of this heat. Then we got Team Japan legends, King Kasugi, who had probably the most shocking fail of this heat, going out on the wing slider, just something I was not expecting from him. Because he's probably the guy I thought would do the best out of anyone here. He's probably the guy I thought would do the best on anyone on Team Japan Legend. Yeah, like, Kane, despite competing, like, not as much as anyone else on Team Japan Legend, like, he's, like, has, like, such a track record. So, like, honestly, I would have thought that he would have, quit the course, but no, he ended up going on the wing slider. It's kind of a surprise. Yeah, then we got, Valentin and D. Collin from Team France. Team France, who cleared with the slowest time of all of them, and the only clear that was fully shown in this heat. With 114 seconds. Then we got Team Japan Blue, who had another very shocking fail in the form of Iwamoto Hikaru, also known as the Snowman, who ended up going out on the Twin Diamond, surprisingly. One thing I want to note about his one, though, is the fact that the camera guy on his one fell straight into the water. Yeah, you can kind of see it. I hope we can show footage of this so I can copyright it. But the camera guy, as he was following Snowman, literally fell straight into the water, and they didn't even try to, like, bring attention to it. You can just see it in the background, and it's just so humorous. Yeah, like, how has that never happened in the history of Sasuke? Like, that's just crazy talk. It's had to have been, and they just never mentioned it. Like just bring no fanfare to it. Like, you can kind of see at the end of his camera, too. Like, right there. Really just, like, humorous. Yeah, but anyway, he ended up going on the Twin Diamond. Then we got the next two ones, which were fast forwards. We had Team Australia's Daniel Mason, who cleared with 90 seconds left, and Yamamoto Kaitoro from Team Japan Red, who also ended up clearing with 87 seconds left on the clock. Heat 2, as you guys might have noticed, half of it was skipped over, which, yeah, get used to that, because most of Stage 1, because of how many heats they ran, they fast-forwarded a lot of ninjas. I don't really think I mind this to a certain degree, though, because, like, I feel like as long as they show who they needed to show, it's fine. Yeah, I mostly feel like the person from Team Germany should have been shown fully, because he did end up clearing in full. But, like, I am glad they showed who they did, because Kane and Snowman's fails was so surprising. I don't think I would have shown Team France's one, just because, like, that one was not really notable. So, if it were my pick, I'd go with the two shocking fails and Benjamin's one, because Benjamin ended up getting first place in the heat. Yeah, moving on to Heat 3, which was even more not shown than Heat 2, which was surprising. The first one of that was a one from Yuko Mizuno from Team Japan Legend. And just to note, too, like, this is the heat where all the females were grouped together, which makes sense. That way they're all competing on even playing fields. Because of this, the results were very varied throughout this one, where we had her starting off with, where she ended up going out on the Twin Diamond. And then we had Team Japan Blues winner, Watanabe May, who ended up going all the way to the Dragon Glider. Yeah, so the next couple of ones were all fast-forwarded, which honestly, I feel like it's kind of criminal, because coming up here, kind of criminal as we'll get to, after Team Japan Blue, we had Team France's Moraine Gillick, who unfortunately went on the wing slider and ended up getting last place in this heat, which, I'll be honest, just kind of surprised me a little bit. I kind of thought she'd do better. I don't know this person, so, like, I don't know why my expectations were like high at all. Yeah, I feel like on this rewatch, it's been like 3 months since we got together to watch the Sasuke World Cup, because we watched it. When did we watch this? It was. Oh God, I don't remember when we watched this. Fuck. We got together. I think it was. Was it? It was soon after the NW finale came out, if I remember correctly. Yeah, somewhere around there. It was like October, I think. Around there, had to been. Yeah, but anyway, in October was when we got together to watch this, so it's been like a month and a half. So like, it's been a bit since we've actually seen this. So like, seeing some of these results also for the first time in a while, kind of surprising. Kind of surprising. Yeah, then we got Jessie Graff, who I honestly think they should have shown, because she ended up getting first place in the heat, even if her one was slow. I still think like it would have been something they should have shown, because she's the top veteran here, especially in Sasuke, and the oldest runner here as well at age 40. Like, and the second oldest person to run at age 40. Like, I think it is kind of crazy how well she did. Definitely, she ended up clearing at just over 100 seconds and getting first place in the heat, though she was fast forwarded. And then we had Olivia Vivian, who also did pretty well considering everyone else around, clearing the course and doing the course with 127 seconds. So pretty decent actually. I would have loved decent actually. She also had to do her backwards warp wall thing, which just has to be her thing. She's lucky she had time for that. Yeah, she's such a showboy. Like, I bet you she was showing off all throughout her run like she did at AW11's All-Star. AW11's USA vs. the World. Like, that's just kind of the person she is. And, like, yeah, just have your fun on Ninja Warrior. Like, at this point, there's, like, very little actual fun in AW and, like, Ninja Warrior as a whole. So it's like, have your fun. Yeah, actually, on that tangent, like, on AEW, like, every competitor who does super well has to be super serious about AEW. But, like, on Sasuke, like, people can have fun, like, Sasuke feels like there's so much more freedom, even if there's only 100 ninjas we see, like, there's still, like, so much freedom you have. Oh, yeah, for sure, definitely. After that, oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. After that, we had Oshima Ayano, who ended up having a really good run for Team Japan Red, who ended up having a really good run as well, getting all the way to the warp wall, but unfortunately timing out right then and there. I don't think we ever mentioned the fact that there is a very minimal time limit of 150 seconds. Yeah, there wasn't really much to that time limit. Only a couple of people ended up even, falling to that point. Her being one of them, where she timed out at the warp wall, but still like a really good one and getting her third place in the entire heat in general. So that was really good for her. And then we had Victoria Kramer for Team Germany running last in a fast forward, no less, who ended up going out on the fishbone, which was just kind of just a little bit surprising considering that they aired her last. Like, I feel like they would have like just aired Jessie's last or something. I think they actually aired it in order of like who went first and whatnot, because it's because of who got first and whatnot, because Team Germany ended up getting first place in the last heat and they ran last in this heat. Oh wait, yeah, actually you're right. I never actually noticed that, but whoever gets first place, they get to run last in the heat. And if heat 1, everyone just went in order. I never noticed that. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that was Heat 3. I think it was cool to see all the women won. One, especially Graf and Vivian, who did super duper on two of the people who cleared. That allows us to move on to Heat 4, which started off with the one from Leon Chirif, who ended up clearing 99 seconds left. Not really notable, but he cleared. Then we had Marvin Mitterhuber from Team Germany, who got fast forwarded, following on the Dragon Glider. And then we had Kasumi Yamada, who, I'll be honest here, did have a pretty okay segment where they edited together, like, him talking about his mother's recent passing. And him just talking about how, like, he feels, like, really emotional getting to compete in international competition like this. I guess in that way it is kind of special. Yeah, it's weird, like, I understand, like, probably the reason why they did do this is because they wanted to show off the legacy of Sasuke in this competition, in addition to the current Japanese competitors. and like they felt like they wanted to show off. But like it feels like to me like at most they should have had Team Japan Red and Team Japan Blue, and just had 2 or 3 All-Stars on those teams. Like otherwise, this is like it feels like a little too much Team Japan in a way. Yeah, like on that tangent too. Like I don't really personally mind the whole 3 Japan teams thing, but like it does feel like they'll it feels like they're more special than all the other countries who are here. But like that's how AEW's also handled it, because like despite the other countries, they don't give an advantage to Team USA, but their advantage is the fact that they've done it before. So in a way, has always been rigged in the Americans' favor in the USA versus the world. Like so much so that like Team Japan was like doing awful during their time on AEW's course in USA versus the world. Like, yeah, I think honestly, like it kind of it's like a trend for the international specials that we've seen. We haven't seen like the other specials, like the 4 nations for Team Germany and Team France, who I hope we get the cover soon. If I can find like whips of them, then yeah. I actually recently the Sasuke Vault, I think might have actually given me access to those. I haven't really like looked specifically, but like that gave me access to like Viking, every Sasuke tournament, every AEW tournament, like those sub Sasuke tournaments in there, Kunoichi, like that gave me access to like fucking everything. So like honestly, the fact that most of the Ninja Warrior YouTubers don't have that is crazy to me. But that's like the easiest way to get it, and that's how we got this, a subtitled version of the World Cup that we're watching for the review, and like for the podcast, and like it's just kind of interesting. I hope we get to cover those specials. Maybe we can, cause like we're not covering EW17 like a serious way, so like maybe we can talk about those specials instead of talking about AEW. It would be a really nice change of pace to talk about other Ninja Warrior shows. So, like, maybe this year what we can do is after the Stage 5 Ninja Awards for EW16, round it off, we can focus on covering other Ninja Warriors. And, like, what we can do is we can talk about 4 Nation specials, Sasuke 42, and talk about Sasuke 40. We want to do Team Ninja. Like, I feel like doing more big-scale projects for the podcast, like maybe a podcast episode once a month if we can manage it, and just do like one special, or like the full season of AEW 17, or like something like that, just like big stuff and talking about the highlights. Like I feel like that right there, I'd be more interested in doing and like going episode by episode AEW, and that being the only thing we cover for the year. Yeah, like, our podcast, it's called the Ninja Warrior Podcast, and yeah, it is about Ninja Warrior, but it's about AEW specifically. Like, we barely ever cover anything else, and like, it would be nice to be able to branch out and talk about other things. So like, I think like honestly, maybe we can like take some time to like branch out and talk about other things, because we aren't going to be focusing on AEW 17 when it comes out. We're just going to be focusing on talk about individual stuff. Like, once the Stage of Ninja Wars are over at the beginning of the year, we should totally do, like, I don't know, we should totally just talk about other things. I think that'd be really interesting. What were we even going on about anyway? Yeah, good question. I really don't know. I think we were talking about Legacy, and then we talked about, okay, I've got it. Okay, so after Chelsea Yamada, then we got Tomohiro Kawaguchi, which was another emotional one, as Kawaguchi has been in a downward spiral himself in recent tournaments. However, he was able to make a very strong comeback here, getting all the way into the stage, clearing it 91 seconds left, getting second place in the heat. Honestly, good for him. I'm really happy that Kawaguchi finally got some revenge after so long. Yeah. After that, we had Tetsuya Tada from Team Japan Red, who ended up clearing with 85 seconds in a fast forward, where he ended up getting first place in the entire heat. Then we had Team Australia, areas, Saxon Johnstone, who ended up clearing the course in the slowest time, but still doing well considering the fact that there were a lot of fails in this heat. And then we had Jesus Christ, Joe Mawowski from Team USA running last, going out on the Whirlwind Hill. Joe, man, you're killing me. Yeah. Like, Joe's still good, but, like, he really needs to stop, like, fucking up like this. Because, like, fails like this is why Team USA was having so many problems throughout this competition. Throughout this first part of the competition. Yeah. So, because of Joe Mawowski's fail here, like, we were really on the cups because Team USA was, like, just barely hanging on at this point because of his fail on the Whirlwind Hill, which was already a shock on its own level. But, like, the fact that, like, so many Team USA was on the edge, and, like, we were like, is Team USA going to be knocked out in the first heat on stage 1? Like, is that what's going to happen here? So, like, it was kind of crazy to see that was what was going on. So, going into the final heat, like, there was a lot on the line here for Team USA specifically. Yeah, definitely. The first winner of Heat 5, final heat on stage 1, was Yusuke Morimoto from Team Japan Red winning first, getting fast-forwarded. He ended up getting second place in this heat, going 86 seconds. Then we had Team Australia's Zach Stolz, who ended up getting first place in the heat, also getting a fast-forward, clearing with 80 seconds left. Then we have Yuji Urushihara, who ended up clearing with 107 seconds and got a mid-cut from Team Japan Blue. And then we got Team Germany's Philip Gohart, who ended up going out on the Fishbone, also getting fast-forwarded as well. You might notice most of this heat was fast-forwarded, which, yeah, I think, like, they were trying to make a 3-hour time slot. Just about. Like, this special is mostly just about 3 hours, so, like, that's basically what they were trying to do. And, like, yeah, like, with all these fast-forwards and mid-cuts in the last heat, Daniel and Nagano's run were the only two ones that were not fast-forwarded in this heat. And honestly, those were the two big ones here that needed to be shown. Yeah, after that we had Charles Pougrade from Team France, who ended up getting a mid-cut and falling on the Dragon Glider. And then we had probably the two most incredible ones here on stage 1, starting off with Daniel Gill's one from Team USA. My god, this was hard to watch the second time around, let me tell you. Yeah, so Gill, he was very calm. He had a smile on his face. Like, Gill really took this one, like, coming in clutch. He did really well up to the wing slider where on the last drop, his ankle, like, bent in, like, a weird way. I don't exactly know what happened, but he was limping throughout the rest of the run. And, like, he really had to push himself as best he could to just barely scrape USA into the top 5 of 5. So, like, it was kind of cool. So, like, this one was, like, crazy because Gill was, like, trucking through all these balance-type obstacles with, like, a weakened leg and limping all throughout the course up to the wall where he just barely couldn't do it. But, like, what a one from Gill. Like, I had so many emotions just, like, cheering for him because I wanted Team USA to move on, obviously. And, like, those are all the people we know. And, like, it was just, like, so crazy. Like, honestly, one of the best ones of his career by far. Even if, like, it wasn't a clear, like, talk about overcoming, like, all that pressure and, like, making the best out of a bad situation. Yeah, definitely for sure. Just, what a one from Gill. Like, I also love to talk about, like, the other competitors on Team USA. Like, they were really cheering him on. When he was done, everyone was like, can we go check on him? Like, everyone was really worried. There was this one spot where they were interviewing Joe Mawowski briefly, and he was like, he was like blaming himself for Gill's injury because he fell super early, and Graf was like, no, like, it probably would have happened either way, like, hey, like, it's not really your fault. And maybe like I feel like if Moloski did better, Gil would not have had to push himself so hard to get USA into the next round. But he probably would have. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I can't see him not pushing USA into pushing himself if Moloski did better. Like this, Moloski's fail had no impact on that one whatsoever. But like the fact that he felt that way is interesting. Yeah, and after that we had Makoto Nagano to close this one out from Team Japan Legend, who ended up having a really amazing one as well, where Nagano, he's like, I think he's the oldest ninja in this lineup, right? Right? From Team Japan Legend? I need to check that. I think Yamada's older, though, I think. Like, I have no idea if he is or not. Yeah, Yamada's much older, but, like, Nagano's second place. So, like, his run here was, like, really impressive, where he had a decent pace all throughout the course, did super duper well, barely made it to the end of the Dragon Glider, like, just barely, and everyone was, like, on the edge of the seat, getting Nagano to, like, do really well and try to get him to clear. He was trying really hard, like, really hard, too. What it came down to was Nagano getting to the warp wall with barely any breath and barely any time left. He made one niche grab attempt at the wall with 10 seconds left, just barely not clearing the wall. And, like, falling there. Like, that was crazy. Like, and then he timed out way after that, Being able to see Nagano compete like that and like do super well brought me back to like his Sasuke 32 one, which was very similar, where he made it to the very, very end of the course and really forced himself to get to the end because he knew he could do it and just barely couldn't. Like, it's like ones like that really get me hyped for Ninja Warrior and stuff. Like, that's why I still love this sport. Just like the amount of triumph in those last two ones, and Nagano was like crazy. Yeah, it's kind of tough to like vocally describe, but like both those ones really had us at the end of our seat because there were two people that we knew, and it was a big moment for Gil and Nagano. Both teams were on the brink of elimination, especially on Team USA's side, because it was either them or France who were going to get eliminated at this point. And USA had to fight to stay in the competition and make up for their teammates' mistakes. So, like, that was kind of crazy, and Gil, like, he really had to push himself, and I'm really glad that Gil did. I'm really glad he did. Yeah, for sure. That was the final heat on stage 1. Leading to the final standings, we had Team Japan Red in first place, 310 points. Team Australia in second place with 280 points. Team Japan Blue in third place with 220 points. Team USA in fourth place with 170. Team France and Team Germany both tied with 150, but since Team France had more clears than Team Germany, they ended up moving on, and then Team Germany and Team Japan Legend being the two to be eliminated. I think it's like really unfortunate, like Team France and Team Germany like tied that, wow, and they had to do that, like that's really unfair a little bit. Yeah, it's also impressive too, because Team Australia also had every single one of theirs on stage 1 clear the course. So like, on that front, like, they had also had the best stats out of everyone as well, along with Team Japan Red, who I believe had ever won but their female ninja clear stage 1. Yeah, so, like, all of that was just, like, super impressive showing from Team Australia. Like, yeah, the Team USA, I guess, like, they came under the pressure, but, like, I really don't know. To be fair, too, like, both RJ and Moloski have never competed on Sasuke, but, like, that is really true. Like, the fact that they failed, like, so early in, Gil needed to pick up their slack, like, that was crazy. And just, like, the entirety of stage 1, despite how long of a competition this is. Like, at this point, we are about an hour and 20 minutes into the special at the end of stage 1. Like, that was the majority of the special, first half. And it was just like, we got better and better as we kept going. I think this special really worked because we knew a good chunk of the ninjas. We knew a good chunk of the Japanese team. We knew all of the American team. We knew some of the Australian team. We knew one person from Team Germany. Like, the only people we didn't really know much about was France, and they did really average. Like, the fact that they even moved on was shocking. Like, I'm kind of surprised they were able to just barely scrape by in that route. Yeah, one thing I also want to note, too, in comparison to AEW's USA versus the World competition in Season 9, where we had 4 teams more than any other season, I personally thought it was really strict. How, like, they had, like, how they only ran a couple of heats on each stage, I think it was 3, and then they forced you to move on to stage 2, and, like, it felt, like, really unfair for every team, aside from the veterans, Team USA and Team USA and Team Europe, where Latin America and Team Asia were really fighting for the table scraps in that special. So here, like, it felt really refreshing to see, like, so many top countries and so many top ninjas do super well. Like, that felt really refreshing to me. And, like, it felt really fair. It felt like every country had a chance to move on. And that ultimately made me kind of happy that, like, this result came out, that, like, Team USA had a triumph, and that the top 3 here were really just being, like, super top, especially Australia and obviously Team Japan Wed. Yeah, so with that, we can move on to the second part of the special, talking about, I guess, do I even want to talk about call this Stage 2? I don't really want to call it Stage 2. We'll call it something, but anyway, that allows us to move on to the second round. Call it round 2. Thank you. Alright, so that allows us to move to round 2 of this competition, which was honestly really disappointing for stage 2, and like we mentioned it earlier, the fact that this is only a 15-meter climb up a spider walk that was up like a small portion of Midoriyama. Like, it really wasn't much of a heat either. Yeah, I really did feel like thrown together because the rules were, this wasn't even like a race. This was straight up 2 people from each team got to run, and it was 2 people at a time, 2 teams, but it wasn't a race. It was more specifically a best accumulative time from both groups, where the where the bottom team gets eliminated. So, like, in that sense, like, there was, like, no closeness in this at all, and, like, this heat, like, it went through really quickly. Only about 9 minutes were dedicated to it as well. So, like, there really isn't much to go on about with it. Yeah, going through the heats really quickly, we had Clement Gravier from Team France and Joe Molaski from Team USA. Joe Molaski finished in 12 seconds, while Gravier finished in 9. We had Heat 2 was next, and then we had Tatsuya Tada and Hyoki Masha, where Tada got cleared in 9 seconds, while Hyoki finished in 11.6. In Heat 3, we get Team Australia's first run and Team France's second, where Australia ended up having Daniel Manson clear at 14 seconds. However, Charles Persuade somehow couldn't finish. Like, he straight up just, like, lost his footing and fell. Oh, and because of that, Team France got a 20-second penalty on their time. So, like, that put them in a really bad spot. Then in Heat 4, we had RJ Rowan for Team USA and Yamamoto Yoshiyuki for Team Japan Wed, where Yoshiyuki had the fastest time out of anyone on the stage in general. The only person to clear in under 9 seconds, and had an impressive time, while RJ cleared in just over 13. And finally, we had Heat 5, which was really the only heat that was, like, somewhat interesting, where we had where we had Tomohiro Kawaguchi and Ashlyn Herbert, who were really evenly matched and evenly skilled, and both of them were just, like, really close with each other, where Austin just barely beats Kawaguchi out with clearing just under 14 seconds, and then Kawaguchi clearing with 15. As you guys just saw, like I went over that so quickly because like there really isn't much to go on about with round two, and yeah, I guess that's that. Yeah, so that leads to the final results. I think at this stage, it's actually kind of interesting to see like Team Japan Wed do so well, and then like everyone else is like, in the mid-20s. Well, their cumulative time was under 20. When like if they had bought someone like Jake Murray or like Vance Walker or someone who's more like a speed person, like aside from RJ, like yeah. I also think like if Gil wasn't injured, he probably would have went up for this because like, yeah, if you've seen him on like a Ninja versus Ninja and whatnot, like he's done like spider climbs like this super duper fast. So like I feel like someone like him would be like a big strength on this if he wasn't injured at that point. Yeah, definitely. So it kind of came down to that. I feel like if Team USA were able to come back with Vance Walker, then like they would have done much better in this seat. Yeah, definitely. And we could talk about it at the end of the special when we're done covering it for like future competitions because I would love to see this again. But like in the balance, just like this competition, it was just kind of unfortunate. Like Team USA like doing being second place, like it felt like it was a really distant second. Yeah, for sure. The final standings were Team Japan Wed in first place with a cumulative time of 18.62 seconds. Then we have Team USA with a cumulative time of 25.76. Team Japan Blue with a cumulative time of 27.03. Team Australia with a cumulative time of 28.90. And then Team France in last place getting eliminated with a cumulative time of 29.54. But yeah, if Team France did not get a penalty, I feel like Team Australia would have been eliminated. It would have been quite close because Team France's first person was the only person that wasn't from Team Japan Wed to get under 10 seconds. So that gave them like a good start. So like if France didn't get a penalty, definitely I think Australia would have been eliminated in this heat. So it was interesting to see Australia just barely hang on with their average performances just because like both their people they finished in just over 14 seconds. So like there was like a huge difference there going into it, coming out of it. Yeah, so that allows us to move on to stage 3, which is the same lineup for in terms of obstacles from Sasuke 41, where there's the flying bar, the sidewinder, the swing edge, or the modified version of falling shelves, the cliffhanger dimension, the vertical limit burst, which we never actually ended up talking about outside of Sasuke 41, obviously, and then the pipe slider. Do you guys want to talk about the vertical limit burst? We can easily just save it for next time. We've gone for a while, man. Like, I say, like, it's, I think I'm really, like, I'm definitely on the definite side. Like, this is probably going to be on Sasuke 42. Like, I feel like we'd be wasting a lot of time if we were to talk about it here. Yeah, so, yeah, we're going to skip on it for now, but, like, still, like, a decent lineup for stage 3, though, right? Oh, yeah, like, I do like all these obstacles. I do think the Sidewinder is a really sluggish obstacle, in my opinion, but, like, it did create some interesting results, and overall, I do think Stage 2 is really interesting to watch. So, like, yeah, on that tangent, yeah, Stage 2 is fine. There's also, too, like, the cumulative points, it's also, like, how points work on Stage 3 is different as well, where instead of, like, you get points for, like, how well you did on the course overall in comparison to other teams, now it's, you get accumulative points for every part of an obstacle you complete. Like, on the flying bar, you make one leap, that's 10 points. So, like, I do like how that works as well, because it allows, like, because, like, they probably didn't expect many people to clear Stage 3. So, like, and no one did, by the way. So, like, them giving that kind of a caveat for point hunting is a really good move. Yeah, because, like, if it worked the same way as it did on Stage 1, like, it just, like, wouldn't really have been all that good results because, like, people... Because, like, no one even made it to, like, the pipe slider, like, the vertical limit... No, and, like, only Yusuke cleared the cliffhanger. So, like, if it worked the same way as Stage 1, like, just, like, not many points would have been earned. Or, like, but, you know, like, people... It would not have felt like they were doing super well, you know? Yeah, a lot less would have been earned, because, like, it would have been, like, 40 points at most for winning the heat? Yeah, because, like, there's only 4 teams, so, like, yeah. So, I fully do agree with you on that one, and yeah, I guess I agree with myself because like I gave the compliment right then and there. Yeah, so let's talk about the first heat, which started off with Team Australia's Zach Stoltz, who ended up getting to the cliffhanger. A good one for him. After that, we had Iwamato Hikaru, Snowman, who ended up also getting to the cliffhanger dimension. He had quite the emotional one as well. This was his first time attempting stage 3. And getting to the cliffhanger dimension, he did really well. He did have a save on the Sidewinder where he just barely cleared it. Because when it dropped, it completely knocked him off balance, and he was lucky enough to be turned around at that point, so like, he was able to clear. And then he made it over to the cliff of the dimension. After that, we had Joe Mawowski, who was fast-forwarded. Honestly, I think I would have shown his one if I'm being real, since he made it farthest at anyone in this heat, ended up being the winner. I know, which is a little bit of nice redemption for Mawowski. Getting to the second transition on the cliff of the dimension. And then we had Yamamoto Kaitara, who I was personally expecting to get all the way to vertical limits, but then he fell on the swing edge, surprisingly. Like, wow. Yeah, definitely. Like, I definitely would have should have shown Mawowski over him because it was a kind of surprise just to see him fail on the swing edge. Maybe just not show Team Japan Blues. Maybe not show Australia's run, but they also ran first, so it's tough. It was probably really tough for them to pick who to not show, because at this point you gotta start chopping down time and pick who to show and who to not, and also just stage 3. It's takes so long to show those runs because despite the fact they only get a couple obstacles in, they take rest in between. It takes so much stamina. There's no landing pad between the flying bar and the Sidewinder, so that's a big one too. Stage 3 is just such a different beast than stage 1 and then stage 1 and then obviously the Spiral Climb, I guess. And I like how the competition treats it as such, and the editing has to treat it as such too, so that way they can show the ones in the best capacity they can. Yeah, definitely for sure. Moving on to Heat 2, we had Oshima Enyo for Team Japan Wed. Unfortunately, disappointing one for her. She ended up only going out on the Sidewinder. Then we had Team Japan Wed's Watanabe May, who also was taken out by the Sidewinder. And then we had Olivia Vivian from Team Australia, who had probably the most inventive one out of the 4. Well, and the only one to get the one fully out of the 4. Where she made it to the Sidewinder, but then had a crazy save on the second one with the drop, where she just barely was able to hang on and sunk down all the way to the bottom ones. That was really vivid to watch. Oh yeah, I was oh my goodness, when I saw that for the first time, it was just crazy to see her make a save like that. And then she immediately fell in the next transition, which was unfortunate. I didn't know how far she would get, but it was impressive. Yeah, and then we had Jessie Graff, who had an impressive one too, getting a mid cut, but she ended up getting past the swing edge, which surprised me a bit, and getting all the way to cliffhanger, where she seemed really calculated and put together. She was having Team USA count down to 6 to help her with the timing, and she almost got it too. She was really close in that first transition. Graff has failed there both times she's been on stage 3, so if she was able to conquer, that would have been a big thing for her. Especially since no other woman got there as well. Oh fuck yeah. No other woman was there. So that would have been a huge accomplishment. And even on the Cliffhanger Dimension, she got way more points than any other woman. Well, for everyone else, that was their weak heat, which made sense, but Graff made it so it was so accumulative. Stage 3, the way Team USA did on stage 3 was so much more of the expected from them from the beginning. So whether they turned it on here was cool, but it just seems really weird. It makes USA come in with a really awkward position. Yeah, they might have done second in the in round 2, but it doesn't feel like they did because they were doing so badly in round 1. Yeah, definitely. Moving on, we got Heat 3, who started off with the one from Tomohiro Kawaguchi. Kawaguchi for Team Japan Blue. Yeah, this one was also an emotional one for Kawaguchi. Him being on the tri-state streak again after not being able to since Sasuke 36. So it was a big moment for him. I also really hope to, like, this marks, I'm getting too ahead of myself. You are getting ahead of yourself. Go over this result, then get back to your point. Okay, so Kawaguchi ended up having a really decent one, getting to the cliffhanger dimension and going out in the second transition, but he came really close to nailing it. And, yeah, as I was trying to go about earlier, Kawaguchi, he's had, like, such a comeback in this special that it really makes me hope that, like, it marks, like, a comeback for him next season on Sasuke 42. Like, I really hope that, like, when Kawaguchi comes back, he's able to, have a huge comeback in that tournament, and this could be, like, the start of that. That would be cool. So Kawaguchi is someone I've been begging to make a comeback because he's been such a downward spiral recently, and I really don't understand why. So, like, yeah, I'd love to have him make a comeback here and make it, hopefully, past the cliffhanger and into the vertical limit, because he hasn't made it to the vertical limit in a while either. So, like, it would feel like such a big thing for him to finally get past it and get back to, well, I feel like he should be, which is the vertical limit. And plus, like, it'd be a big thing if, like, once someone finally completes the new vertical limit, when someone completes the vertical limit burst, which I'm pretty sure Yusuke is going to do in the next tournament, if ornament in Sasuke 42. Oh yeah, he kind of has to be at that point because, like, that would be his third attempt on the obstacle. Yeah, but going back to Kawaguchi, fell in the cliffhanger dimension. After that, we had Team Japan Wed with Yamamoto Yoshiyuki, who had a mid-cut and also went on the cliffhanger dimension, but was really, really fucking close to nailing that second transition. Like, closer than anyone up to this point to nailing it. After that, we had Saxon Johnston, who was fast-forwarded and went up to the cliffhanger dimension, failing on the first transition. And then we had Daniel Gill, who, surprisingly enough, got cleared to run again. I guess that ankle injury wasn't that bad. No, I think the main thing was, like, it's all upper body. Like, literally, there was not a single obstacle aside from the sidewinder that you really use your legs for anything. So, like, I think that's the main was, like, he probably got checked. Like, there's nothing, like, you need to land. There's, like, basically no legs at all. That's probably why they cleared them to one again. Yeah, I just find that really interesting. Like, he was still over the one. But anyway, Gil did super well, getting to the cliffhanger dimension, falling on the second transition. It was a fast forward. And yeah, coming into that final heat here, USA was dominating in the lead. With Team Australia in second place, but, like, we still had Yuji Uchihawa and Yusuke Morimoto to run from Team Japan Red and Blue. Like, everything really felt like it was on the line for both Australia and Team USA. And, like, I was desperately hoping that, like, it wasn't gonna be Team Japan Red versus Team Japan Blue in the final. Oh fuck yeah! Like, that would have been so, like, anticlimactic if it was just Japan versus Japan on the final stage. Like, yes, like, a lot was riding on this final heat. Yeah, so the first ninja to win on the final heat was Ashlyn Herbert for Team Australia. Jesus Christ, what the fuck was this one? Yeah, let's just say it. So, Ashlyn, this guy who, like, on Team Australia that we weren't really, like, looking out for at all, fucking does a 10-foot jump from the first flying ball cradle to the third, and just clears it all in one. And his reasoning is because, why not? Literally, quote, why not? It's fun. Like, like, that was the biggest WTF moment I think I've ever seen in AEW, like, in Ninja Warrior. There was no reason to have done that. He just wanted to, like, I can make that. Just have, like, flair. Like, I fucking love this guy just because, like, he had the balls to do that. Yeah, it's also funny because, like, the announcer was being, like, for the first time in history, someone skipped the cradle, and I was just like, yeah, because he had the balls to do it. No one else would have done that. Like, it didn't matter how well he did. Like, just like that one was fucking insane. Like, just like that save overshadowed everything else going forward. Yeah, Ashland also had a really good pace all throughout, where it felt like he also had a really good pace. He did really good pace up to going after that as well. He made it all the way to the Cliffhanger Dimension, failing the first transition. Unfortunate, but, you know, it was still like, probably the most memorable thing from this special. One of them for sure, like, definitely in the top 3 behind Gil and Nagano's run on stage 1. Like, that was insane. Like, just... Like, it's like that time where Kyle Solderman, like, skipped the last bell leap on the Wing the Bells last season. Like, stuff like that where, like, there was no reason to do that. But they do it anyway, and they fucking show-offs for that. Yeah. After that, we had Team Japan Blues Yuji Ushihara, who got a mid-cut and failed the Cliffhanger Dimension, though we did come close to nailing the second transition. Then we had Yusuke Morimoto, who had the best one out of anyone here, getting all the way, anyone in total, as he made all the way past the Cliffhanger Dimension. And she made all the way to the final transition on the vertical limit burst, right where he fell in the last tournament. And he came even closer to nailing it, like he got a firm grip on the last one. But again, because of the rotation, you have to make such a quick transition. So, like, he just couldn't nail it in time. But, like, I know he can do that. Like, there's no way he can't. Oh, yeah, like, look at how close he got. Like, maybe I can show a picture. Because, like, I was, like, on the edge of my seat thinking, like, oh my god, he might have it. Because, like, the thing with the vertical limit burst on that last part is, once you reach, like, the part your other hand is on, like, it just gets pulled further away from you, so you don't have anything to grip on by that point. So unless you're, like, ready to, like, make the second transition, like, you're not gonna make it. Which is, like, really crazy to me. Yeah, definitely, for sure. So unfortunately, Yusuke did fall there, and that left it to RJ Roman. Now, at this point, Yusuke's team, Team Red, Team Japan Red had 300 points. So RJ really only needed to get 40 points to knock Japan Blue out of the running and push Team USA into the top spot. So, like, he really didn't have to do much. And thankfully, to a certain degree, mind you, he was able to get Team USA into that spot, getting on. However, he still had a kind of shocking fail, where, like, he had a very fast pace, was really rushing throughout the course, ended up going out on the first transition to the swing edge, where he just didn't take the time to make the transition. And, like, even when he was hit the water, he was so pissed, he literally blurted out, what the fuck? Like, straight up. Yeah, like, I heard that, and I was just like, oh my god. he actually said it. Like, that's how mad he was. Like, I feel like Mulaski got to redeem himself, but RJ just, like, has been woofing. Like, that's 4 out of 5 ones he's made this year in 2024 that ended in shock. Like, he needs to get out of this, spiral he's in, you know? Definitely, for sure. Like, RJ will definitely be someone that will probably be, like, best comeback season, AW17, if we end up doing the awards. Yeah, I feel like if we do those, like, it would be a huge, like, reformatting of the awards, because there are some things you just can't do at that point. Yeah, and there was going to be a reformatting this year as well, to accommodate for the whole only 4 new obstacles thing this season in AW16. So, you guys will see a little bit of a reformatting for the Stage 5 Ninja Awards coming up here. But, like, it is a really big thing that, like, Stage 4, it was a really big thing that, like, this ended up happening. A really big thing that, like, RJ's been on the spiral and was knocked out and shocked here. Yeah, for sure. That led it to being, Team Japan Red and Team USA in the top 2 spots. Team USA with 320 and Team Japan Red with 300. And then Team Japan Blue and Team Australia were knocked out with 280 points each. So, like, that would have been interesting if, like, if RJ failed even earlier and wasn't able to claim the points needed, which would have been funny on its own. Oh, it would have been really dumb, but like funny. But then like, like they would have been tied, so like it would have been really interesting to see. But as of the results here and how it works, Team Japan Blue would have moved on, which would have made it really lame. Yeah, so like if LJ failed early, like Team USA would have missed out on the final, and that would have been like really like even dumber than like this. Oh yeah, for sure, like straight up. Anyway, that allows us more to the final stage, where it was Sean Bryan going up for Team USA, going up against Yusuke Morimoto. There was honestly no way Sean was gonna beat Yusuke, but I'll give him this. He made a valiant attempt on stage 4 and kept it kinda close. Oh yeah, for sure. Sean's one, like, it might have been slower than Yusuke. It might have been slower than Yusuke's by a long shot, but it was still like a really valiant attempt, like really his best, where he got the speed climbing, he pumped up the salmon ladder as fast as he really could, even if it was like slower in terms of Sean Bryan standards. Like I thought he'd be skipping ones and like destroying it, but I think like a big thing with the Sasuke one is like it's so much higher than the ones on other courses and AEW. So like I think that was a big one. But like, you know, despite Sean keeping like a steady pace, by the time he got to the rope, he was really struggling. So like at that point, like that's what it came down to. Like Sean Bryan's struggle on the rope was the difference maker. He ended up finishing in just over a minute, which was a fine enough time for this stage. It's a lot over what the time limit is, which is 45 seconds. And then it came down to Yusuke Morimoto and Team Japan Wed, where Yusuke kind of just calmingly climbed the tower. Like, he was trying to push himself to get there, but like he was really trying to just use it for practice, as like he really wasn't worried about time or anything. He ended up clearing with 50 seconds left, which would have been a timeout in normal Sasuke, but like I feel like he also definitely wasn't like pushing himself to go super fast. He just knew like he had to beat a minute. Like, he knew he can do that in his sleep. Like, he just wanted to keep a decent pace. And that's all he really felt like he needed to do at that point. And, like, I don't think, like, his performance getting slower than the initial time limit on Stage 4 initially means anything going into Sasuke 42 if he gets back there. Oh, definitely. Like, yeah. And, yeah, like, Yusuke's... The ones on Stage 4, like, I think Bryan's felt more impressive than Yusuke's because, like, Yusuke we knew was gonna crush it. But, like, it was really interesting to see Bryan's run because, like, Sean Bryan, like, he's someone who we've never seen attempt a version of Stage 4. He's the elder statesman of Team USA, so I was just, like, super curious, like, how well he would do. And, like, the fact that he did, like, such a valiant effort, it didn't matter to me that, like, he was slower than Yusuke. Like, he gave it such a valiant attempt, and, like, Bryan was also talking about at the top when he was interviewed, he was just like, this is a dream come true, like, I'm so glad I was picked to represent Team USA and just, like, perform my best, and, like, Sean really did perform his best this year. Yeah, for sure, like, this was, like, such a big year for Sean Bryan. Like, he made it back to, like, in AEW, he hit 4 buzzers and made it back to Stage 3 for the first time in 6 years. And then here in the Sasuke World Cup, he, despite doing it in a slow time, he still cleared Stage 1 and then climbed Stage 4. Like, again, like, it doesn't matter how slow he did, like, he still, like, showed off for his country. And aside from Graf, he definitely had the most consistently good performance out of everyone on Team USA. Aside from Gil in USA, like, you can definitely say, like, he was probably the best showing at anyone there on Team USA. Yeah, in a way, like, Gil, he had a very triumphant one. It was definitely an accident that he got injured in general, so you can't really judge that. But, like, the fact that Bryan had such a good year this year, like, this is, like, a huge cap-off to his 2024 as a year for him. Like, it was crazy. And, yeah, that's it. That's the Sasuke World Cup. We have been here for another 90 fucking minutes. Are you surprised? No, but, like, you know, to be completely fair, though, I thought we'd be here longer. Did you really? I thought that this would be, like, a 2-hour long episode, and we'd be, like, chopping it up into 2 parts. Yeah, like, I don't think I would chop it up into two. I feel like unless we had, like, a 3 hour or something, like, I wouldn't chop it up into a couple of parts just because, like, I'd rather, if it's all on the same topic, just have it be all in one. Like, these podcasts are already so long to begin with. Like, just, if people want to care about watching our entire opinions, they're going to do it. And plus, a podcast is meant to be that kind of length. Like, that's kind of the standard length for a podcast is, like, an hour somewhat. So, like, us running for over 90 minutes 4 separate times this year really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's 3. Oh, yeah, you might actually on that one, but, like, so, like, us having 3 90-minute episodes within this year's coverage, I don't think that really matters. Like, I think that's, like, a huge, like, even seen as an improvement because we were able to talk for that long and entertain for that long, kind of thing. Yeah, I would personally love to know, who even watches for that long, too. Like, I'm seriously curious. I'm not exactly sure, like, technically my analytics on YouTube does show me that, but, like, the podcast doesn't get as many views as I would want it to, so, like, I have no idea if that's the case. So, yeah, we'll have to see. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Sasuke World Cup completely covered at long last. My humble apologies to everyone who was expecting this so much earlier. I was too. But we've been really busy with working on, both me and John are our senior year. Crystal's in her first year in college. Both of us are like, all three of us are like having trouble to like actually meet up and like see each other and talk about the podcast and whatnot. So like actually meeting up was a bit of a struggle this time around. But we said we were going to cover it. It's an obligation now. Us covering Sasuke 42 is an obligation. Us covering the Stage 5 Ninja Wars is an obligation. Like, and then like after that, like I'll get into it then, the new plan for the podcast, because I feel like it will kind of just be like a reboot in a way, in the way we cover things. Because like I am seriously not going to do an episode by episode cover of A&W of year 17. Yeah, like I think like we'll cover it because like we talked about this a couple weeks ago over like in the group chat we have. Like all three of us still love Ninja Warrior and still love talking about it. David's mentioned to me going back to climbing recently and like enjoying that as well. And then you still go to Ninja Warrior to the Hamden Ninja Academy weekly. Like you still enjoy the sport. We still enjoy covering the sport. The only reason why we're trying to scale down our coverage of the show is to not only so we can fit in more topics, but also so we can topics and talk about different things other than A&W, but also just so like because A&W is at this point to where it's not talking about Vegas finals and Midoriyama, it's talking about other things. So like it would be really interesting to take the time to go back and like talk about like Team Ninja, the other international specials from France, Indonesia, the UK, and Germany, France and whatnot, like all those different times. It would be really interesting to see, to talk about the international version of Ninja Warrior. Like, actually talk about, like, let's just say let's watch season 1 of Ninja Warrior UK and, like, talk about opinions and feelings. Like, I feel like because we do not know how those international ninja warriors went, like that would be such a fresh experience to watch through and like actually make me excited for ninja. And like this year I was like so like unsure about the state of Ninja Warrior as a sport going into this year, but like AW16 being so like remarkably surprising in its last couple of episodes in the Vegas finals, and being relatively decent all throughout itself, and then being a respectful finale for A&W, and then the Sasuke World Cup being a huge standout and being an amazing thing, and then we'll talk about Sasuke 42 when that comes out later this year. Like all of that has really reinvited my spirit of Ninja Warrior. So like I do want to cover more. Like I have a lot of enthusiasticness going into the next year of the podcast because we're going to be covering so much. Yeah, we're going to be talking about it a lot more. when it comes down to the episodes talking about the Stage 5 Ninja Awards, specifically when we actually announce the awards, because I feel like at the end of that we'll know what we'll be doing. But yeah, so let's talk about it. So the next episode, I feel like the next episode will probably be Sasuke 42, because timeline-wise, that's what's coming up. However, what could happen, and what I'm going to aim to happen, is that in the next coming weeks, we announce the Stage 5 Ninja Awards. We announce it and nominate everyone we're nominating. Just like, have everyone take time to nominate people. And then, we have a long break of like a month where we're prepping for the Sasuke 42 podcast, and we cover that. And then within like a month or two, we are back talking about talking about the actual Stage 5 Ninja Awards. Because if we're able to do that, that would mean that like while we're in the downtime while we're prepping, people can vote for the Stage 5 Ninja Awards. And like we don't have to be strict about a deadline. I can focus on promoting the thing and making sure people know about it. I think this year I'm gonna take some strides to like really get people to know about it. Like the first year we did it, we didn't have voting. The second year we did it, we had a big showcase the categories. However, some categories were less popular than others. And then the third year we did it, only a small portion of our audience was actually voting into it. So what I really want to do is do like full scale promoting of this year's Stage 5 Ninja Awards, because it might be the last year we do it. So like I want to make it big, I want to make it cool. Or I don't know if we're going to do one for NW17 or like other competitions. We might do it, I can see it. But like I think it comes down to if we feel like we can do it for NW17, or we feel like we can do it for like Sasuke or something, and I'll kind of see like how I can like adapt the system for other forms of ANW, or for other forms of Ninja Warrior. So like it's a lot of we'll see, but I hope you guys are excited for what's coming in the future. Let me just be clear here. In theory, the next episode of the podcast should be us nominating the Stage 5 Ninja Awards. So that way, we can release Sasuke 42 in that gap time. And that means that we will have probably a much longer voting period than any other time we've done this. Oh yeah, like, I think honestly, the voting period will probably be about 2 months, give or take. Yeah, it really does depend on how long it takes us to get out the Sasuke 42 podcast. As of recording this, we don't really know when Sasuke 42 is airing, but it will probably be very soon. We're recording this in November, so whenever this ends up coming out, that would depend on when Crystal gets a chance to edit it down. I'm not gonna fucking wait or anything. I am very much held up on things as well. My top priority is actually getting out the Stage 3 retrospective for New Year's, but, you know, things happen. We'll see what's going on. But in theory, the next episode after this should be this nominating the Stage 5 Ninja Awards. Then we'll do Sasuke 42, probably around mid-January at the earliest, but probably more close to the end of January. And then about during February, we'll do the nominees, depending on how long the tribute takes me to make. I have a song in mind. I have everything ready. It's just that it comes down to us nominating the stuff and whatnot, and how timeline go. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Hopefully, within the second half of the year, I'm not too caught up with stuff, but that's not a guarantee. I am currently sending my applications to colleges, so, like, things are kind of being hefty for me lately, and there's the conversation of me possibly moving out of my parents' house and whatnot, and there's a lot of stuff going on that you guys don't need to know about. So, like, just all you guys really need to know is that it might be holding us up, and that's, like, the main reason why something doesn't go through, and why this plan we're talking about here may be a little bit longer than we want it to be. But, you know, I want to try to get it done for February, and then once March hits, we can start focusing on, again, those other topics we talked about, Team Ninja, other international versions of Ninja Warrior, other international specials, just talking about all things Ninja Warrior, more branching out, and having more fun with the show. So, hopefully, by the time March and April comes around, we can start doing that. But we have to finish off our applications for 2024, and that includes Sasuke 42 and the Stage 5 Ninja Awards for NW16. So, we'll be doing those, and then we'll see what happens, and probably will be a soft reboot from now. Anyway, I think that's that. You know. I think we can finish. I think that's it. We can finish with the Sasuke World Cup in this episode of the podcast. Yeah, I think this one would distract me on this conclusion, so we just gotta end it here. Yeah, so we'll see you guys next time for hopefully the nominations for the Stage Ninja Awards. And we'll see you guys next time for that. Peace.